Hey, how's it going? It's a D. I'm sorry that I'm like half hour late on the time that this broadcast was supposed to be, but I spent a little bit more time than I planned to talk to you guys about what does it really take to get a job in high tech. And I wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's kind of like the first thing that I want to try to change your mind about. Because a lot of times I feel like people, um, job seekers that I speak with, they really want to leave their job, right? They're unhappy. They are sometimes miserable, or maybe they're just bored. Um, but more often than not, they've come to a point where they feel like they're they've been underpaid for way too long. They're unappreciated. Their boss doesn't really, appreciate what they do and all that they do for the company. And all that they do doesn't get reflected in the compensation that they get. Um, and they don't have all that much impact in the company because, they're just the lowly insert job title, whatever they are. And so they really do want to leave their job and they want to get, a higher impact, higher income job in high tech. But then they come and tell me like, yeah, D, I can't do it because my resume has too many gaps in it, or I don't have the right experience. Like it doesn't, my experience just doesn't add up to something that makes sense as like for that the job that I want to be the next step, or the career move that I want to make. Or like I just don't know the right people. I don't know anybody in high tech. So how can I don't know anybody, that can get me a job. Um, and the truth is, and this is what I wanted to share with you today, that you don't need any of those things. So the way that I've job searched before and the way that I've taught people how to job search before, like you don't even need a resume. We have it. I always have had it, but I've had many times where that wasn't even, it didn't even come up because I I was offered the job before like they even thought to ask for my resume just because of the way that I did and the process that I used. And so I wanted to talk about the top three things that you need um, when you're looking to land a job in high tech, but you don't really know where to start. And obviously, all of these can be broken down into even more topics, but I wanted to give like a high level today of like, and I also don't want to exhaust you guys with too much information. So, and the first um, thing that you need to get and to really dial down when you're trying to land any job, but especially when, you're trying to do something that you've never done before, or that is, a little bit harder than, that is challenging you, is to make sure that your mindset is in the right place. And when I'm talking about mindset, some of you may be going like, mind what? What's that? Or like maybe you have some associations with it that it's like this fluffy woo-woo stuff, um, or that it's just like psychology or whatever. Um, but really, the way that I look at it, at least, all that mindset is a belief system. And in this case, it's the belief system. What I'm talking about is a set of beliefs that you have about the task at hand, what you're trying to do, and about yourself. So you want to have um, a belief about yourself that says, that you can do this. You want to have the confidence, right? Because without the right amount of confidence, you're gonna tank every interview. You're gonna self-sabotage. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna want it to overcome imposter syndrome. I'm sure plagues almost all of you. Um, especially those of you who are saying it's not imposter syndrome, I really do suck. Been there, done that. Overcame it. So yeah, tell me about it. You want to be able to, especially when you're making a career transition, like most of you are trying to do, you want to have a solid belief in your skill set. And you're not even going to be able to recognize your skill set if, you have the belief of, well, I've never done this before, so that must mean I can't, right? So you want to be able to, some of you might be sitting on skills that are very relevant and could be highly valuable in high tech, but you don't know it. So you either won't go for it, or maybe you'll go for it, but you'll feel like, well, I don't really deserve this because I don't have the skills, so I should be so lucky to even get the job that you agree to whatever terms they give you. And you don't even try to negotiate. So this stuff, it's really, really important. For me personally, I have the belief that I'm a problem solver. I can solve problems, right? I have literally what I say is I always find a way. This is what I tell myself. It's a belief that I have, but it's become my truth, right? Because when that is my belief, I allow myself to play bigger. I allow myself to be challenged by different situations that are new and uncomfortable to me, but I sincerely believe that I always find a way. And 90% of the time I do find a way. So that actually reinforces that belief, and slowly that becomes my truth, right? I'm a person who always finds a way, becomes part of my identity. And it's really like a virtuous cycle like that, but it has to start somewhere, right? And it starts with your mindset. And conversely, if I didn't believe that, then I would always play small, right? And let's face it, when you play small, the payoff is small. When you play big, the payoff is bigger. So you want bigger payoff, you got to play bigger. You want to play bigger, grow your mindset, strengthen it. I'm telling you, those of you who think that this is too fluffy or whatever, yeah, okay, I'll do the mindset. I'm warning you. None of the technical stuff, none of the tactics and hacks and resume makeovers or whatever, nothing is going to help. It doesn't matter if you have if you know exactly what the right things to say at a negotiation is. If you're coming at it with the back of your mind, you're saying, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve this, then guess what? You're going to self-sabotage. You will. So hope I've made myself clear about that. I feel very strongly about this stuff. The second thing is to understand that you're dealing with people. So a lot of times we can get bogged down in the details. We can start working on the resumes or start looking at the job descriptions of different roles that are open, and we forget that behind every job description like that is a person, is a boss, a department head or whatever, who wrote it. And they wrote it because they have a problem that they need solved. So remembering that there's a person there that you can help is really helpful. And remembering that, when you go into a negotiation, that the person in front of you is not there to strong arm you, and they're not there to, screw you over or whatever. If you go into the negotiation with a feeling like, oh, this is a person, there's somebody's mom, somebody's brother, somebody's son, it lets you walk into the room with a lot more compassion. That's going to give you actually a lot more confidence. And another thing that you will do once you realize that you're always dealing with people, whether it's in trying to get the job or during the job itself, while you're after you've gotten the job, because it's not just about getting it, it's about rocking at it after you get it. Once you realize that it's all about people, then you also realize that there's a really high value placed on your communication skills. And that comes through in, self-presentation in your resumes and interviews, in negotiations. It comes through in um, being able to ask people for things like after you've gotten the job. So getting along with your team, with your colleagues, being able to ask people to do things for you, or to get information from people, or to give information, the right information when you're being asked, and really to become like a strong member of the team. You have to have those communication skills because it's all people. So that's the other thing. And then the third thing is to take intelligent action. And that means, to kind of know what the steps are that you're going to take when you're trying to get this job, and also what you're going to do once you land the job. And also know when each step is over and you can move to the next thing. So kind of having a plan of action that's going to be detailed enough to have you, not wondering what you should do. Like, you should wake up every day knowing exactly what you're trying to accomplish. You should also know when to move on. And then, it shouldn't be so rigid that you're executing it like a robot and you're not able to adjust if you see that something's not working. But you do want to make sure that, number one, you're not adjusting the plan out of fear. Like, the tweaks that you're making, it's because really something needs to be tweaked in order to work better, and not because, oh, I'll just get rid of that step that I was planning on doing. I wanted to I don't know, have informational interviews with 10 people this week, so actually I'm only going to do 2 because I don't know, you hate talking to people, or you're scared, or I don't know. Anytime that you feel like you're tweaking the plan, or changing the plan, or like copping out of fear, when you're trying to accomplish something big, it's usually because that's the feeling that you get when you're coming up against the edges of your comfort zone. So you actually, in those times, you want to like put your head down and push through so that you can expand that comfort zone and, move on to bigger things. But again, you don't want like a rigid plan. You want it to be flexible enough to allow for necessary tweaks, but not too like loose that you're just winging it, and then you don't really know what you're doing and you get lost. So I'd love to hear, where you are right now in your job search, and where you are, with your mindset, with your communication skills, with the plan of knowing what actions to take. If, you are having any kind of issues with this and you need my help, just shoot me a private message, and I can share with you some ideas that I have. But yeah, just let me know where you're at. And I hope that I got to change your mind even just a little bit about what it actually takes to land a high-tech job. So continue being awesome, continue putting yourself out there, continue playing big, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.